the acid-base equilibrium. The objective of this chapter is first to define acid and base substances. Second, what is the difference between the term acid and acidic, base and basic, and what is the definition of acidic or basic solution? The objective number 3 is to know how to calculate the measurement of the acidity of a solution, and this is by the calculation of the pH. The objective number 4 is to know what is the formula that should be used to calculate the pH of acidic or basic solution. And we will study how to calculate this formula. And this formula then can be used without a proof according to a domain. We noted the domain of validity. In objective number 5, we will study the acid-base reaction. Suppose we mix acids with bases. What is the sequence of the reaction taking place in order to calculate the concentrations in the final solution and the pH in this solution? And the objective number 6 is the titration. What is the meaning of titration? Titration is a process used to calculate the concentration of unknown solution by a solution of known concentration. And we will study the titration of strong acids, strong bases, the titration of weak acid by strong base, the titration of diacids or dibases, and the titration of polyprotic acids or polyprotic bases. Acids and bases are present in our daily life and especially in the functioning of our human system. For example, the gastric juice or the gastric acid or the stomach acid is formed in the stomach membrane, and it's composed of hydrochloric acid, potassium chloride, and sodium chloride. So the stomach is acidic, and we have also in the stomach formation of salts. The acid produced has a key role in the functioning of stomach, in the digestion of proteins by activating the digestive enzymes to break down the proteins. The gastric acid is produced by cells in the lining of the stomach, which are coupled systems to increase the acid production when we need. That's, for example, when we take a lot of proteins, we need more acid to be broken. So the stomach produce more gastric acid when needed. At the same time, other cells in the stomach produce bicarbonate, which is a base. So in the stomach we have acid, and we have at the same time producing of base, which is the bicarbonate. Why? To buffer the fluid ensuring that the solution in our stomach is at known pH, and to avoid the system to become too acidic. Per day, the average adults produce from 2 to 3 liters, and the pH of the gastric juice produced is equal to 1.5, which is equivalent to a concentration of hydrochloric acid equal to 0.03. This concentration of hydrochloric acid can dissolve zinc metal. The enzyme carbonic anhydrase present in our system will catalyze the reaction between carbon dioxide and water to form carbonic acid according to the reaction CO2 gas plus H2O liquid give H2CO3, and H2CO3 in presence of water will dissociate to H plus or HCO plus and HCO3 minus. After hydration of CO2 that produce H2CO3, our system is acidic. The cells will produce at the same time bicarbonate, as we said, to maintain the fluid buffered. So if we have, for example, excess of production of acid, we can take external base, for example, a medicinal drug like Malox, so we can neutralize the excess of the acid. We have two definitions of acids and bases: the definition of Arrhenius and that of Bronsted. According to Arrhenius, an acid is a substance that produces H plus in solution. For example, hydrochloric acid in the presence of water dissociates to H plus and Cl minus. So HCl is donor of H plus, HCl is an acid. A base is a substance that dissociate in water to produce hydroxide ion OH minus. As an example, sodium hydroxide dissociates to Na plus and OH minus. According to Bronsted, the acid is defined by the same way as Arrhenius. The acid is a substance donor of HCO plus in solution, and the base is a substance that is acceptor of HCO plus. Consider, for example, the dissociation of acetic acid in water. Acetic acid CH3COOH dissociates to CH3COO minus or acetate ion and H plus. So acetic acid is donor of H plus, acetic acid is an acid. Since this reaction takes place in two directions, we can say by the same way that CH3COO minus can accept H plus to give CH3COOH. So CH3COO minus or acetate is a base. The term H plus and HCO plus. In some books, they wrote the reaction as releasing of H plus. Other books use the reaction CH3COH plus H2O that give CH3COO minus plus HCO plus. The proton H plus does not exist in solution because it's so reactive. It will react with water present to produce the hydronium ion HCO plus, and this is by the attack of the lone pair of H2O to H plus, and it produces HCO plus. We will use the term HCO plus and not H plus. Acid or base, strong or weak. How to know if the acid we used is strong or weak? A strong acid is a substance that dissociates completely to HCO plus in solution. Hydrochloric acid in the presence of water dissociates completely to HCO plus and Cl minus, so HCl is a strong acid. When the dissociation is partial to HCO plus in solution, the acid is weak. CH3COH plus H2O dissociates partially to acetate and HCO plus, so acetic acid is a weak acid. In other words, the strong acid is a strong electrolyte, and the weak acid is a weak electrolyte. By the same way, we use the same definitions for bases. A strong base is a substance that dissociates completely to OH minus in solution, and a weak base is a substance that dissociates partially to OH minus in solution. The acid, weak or strong, is by nature. Never a strong acid become a weak or vice versa. In absence of water, we have a pure acid or pure base substances. We don't have dissociation. The dissociation of the acid, weak or strong, or of the base, weak or strong, take place in the presence of water. So in presence of water, we have dissociation, partial or complete, of acids, or partial or complete of base. Never forget and never confuse between the term acid and acidic, base and basic. The terms acid or base is used for substances, and the term acidic or basic is used for solutions. HCl is an acid. In the presence of water, it gives a solution acidic. The dissociation of acid or base proceed only in the presence of water or in solution. Consider the dissociation of the weak acid HF in water. HF dissociates in water partially to F minus and HCO plus. So HF release HCO plus. HF is an acid. H2O accept H plus of HF, so H2O is a base. And since this reaction is in two directions, we can say F minus, which is the base, accept HCO plus to give HF, or the acid HCO plus release H plus to F minus and is transformed to H2O. So when we put acid substance in water, it will dissociate to its conjugate base. HF dissociate to F minus and H2O transformed to HCO plus. So we talked about acid-base couple. In this reaction, we have the couple HF, F minus, and the second couple is HCO plus, H2O. Another example is the reaction of strong acid with base, which is anion. The base anion is A minus, and the strong acid, it is HCO plus. So HCO plus will release H plus to A minus. A minus is a base, is acceptor. A minus accept H plus, A minus and H plus become HA. And when HCO plus release H plus to A minus, it becomes H2O. So in this reaction, we have two couples. Couple 1, which is HA, A minus, and couple 2, which is HCO plus, H2O. The third example is the reaction of strong acid with base, and the base is a neutral. For example, B. The base B, neutral, will accept H plus from H2O. It becomes BH plus. So this is a base, and this is the conjugate acid. And HCO plus release H plus to B, it becomes H2O. We have two couples, acid base, BH plus B, and the second couple acid base is HCO plus H2O. So as a conclusion, the acid or the base remains as a pure substance when we don't have water. In the presence of water, the acid will dissociate partially or complete. It depends on the strength of the acid, will dissociate to its conjugate base. And if you have a base, it will dissociate or it will be transformed to its conjugate acid. To find the couple acid base, if you have acid, you remove H plus, you find the conjugate base. If you have a base, you add H plus, you find the conjugate acid. Since a weak acid dissociates partially to HCO plus and A minus, we have to calculate its percent ionization, percent I, or percent alpha. Consider the dissociation of weak acid HA. At T equals 0, we have C0HA, 0, 0. At the equilibrium, C0 minus X, X, X. The degree of conversion of HA, or the degree of dissociation, alpha, is equal to the quantity of A reacted, which is X, divided by the initial, divided by C0. So alpha equal X over C0. We transform X to alpha, so at T equilibrium we have C0 minus C0 alpha HA, C0 alpha HCO plus, and C0 alpha of A minus. The percent ionization I, or the percent alpha, is equal to the quantity reacted divided by the initial. So the percent I is given by A formed, which is X, divided by HA initial, which is C0, times 100. Why we did not say percent I equal HCO plus formed divided by HA initial times 100, since we write X is equal the concentration of HCO plus at equilibrium. In this equation, the source of A minus is only the dissociation of HA. But HCO plus has two sources. The first is the dissociation of HA, and the second is from the auto-ionization of water. So HCO plus has two sources, HA dissociation and H2O dissociation. For this reason, we write percent I as a function of A and not as a function of HCO plus. How does the initial concentration affect the percent ionization? A strong acid dissociates completely to HCO plus independent of the initial concentration used. So the percent ionization of a strong acid is always 100%. For the weak acid, when we increase the initial concentration, the percent ionization decrease. Or we can say, for the weak acid, when C0 decrease, so we have dilution, the degree of dissociation or the degree of ionization increase. So as a conclusion, the dilution of strong acid did not affect its dissociation. The dissociation is always 100%. But the dilution of weak acid increase its dissociation. Ionization of water. Strong acid react to the strong base to produce salt and water according to the following reaction. It can be written HCO plus plus OH minus that give 2H2O or simply 1H2O plus 1H2O. The stoichiometry of this reaction is 1, 1, 1, 1, and K for this reaction is found to be very high, so this reaction is complete. To note that K for this reaction is greater than 10 to the power 6, so this reaction is complete. K greater than 10 to the power 4, this reaction is a quantitative. At the same time, H2O decompose to give HCO plus and OH minus. This reaction is not favored in direction 1, highly favored in direction 2, and the concentration of HCO plus and OH minus produced are equal. H2O release HCO plus, or H2O release OH minus, so H2O is an ampholyte. At 25 degrees, the equilibrium constant for this reaction is equal to the activity of the products divided by the activity of the reactants, and we used concentration in our curriculum. So K at equilibrium is equal to the concentration of HCO plus times concentration of OH minus, and is found to be equal 10 minus 14 at 25 degrees. K equilibrium is noted Kw, or the ionic product of water. Changing the temperature will change the value of Kw and also will change the concentration of HCO plus and OH minus produced. As temperature increase, Kw increase. What is the concentration of water? The density of pure water is equal 1 gram per milliliter. That means the volume of 1 milliliter is equivalent to a mass of 1 gram. The molar concentration is equal to the number of mole divided by the volume equal the mass of water 1 gram divided by the molar mass 18 divided by the volume, which is equal 1 milliliter, equal 10 minus 3 liter. So it's equal to 1000 divided by 18 equal 55.55 mole per liter, and the concentration of water is always constant. In the previous slides, we explained the difference between the term acid, acidity, base, and basicity. Acid and base are used for substances. Acidity or basicity are used for solution. Any solution contains HCO plus and OH minus, and the concentration of HCO plus and OH minus are variable according to the composition of the solution. If the concentration of HCO plus in the final solution is greater than that of OH minus, the solution is acidic. If the concentration of OH minus in the final solution is greater than that of HCO plus, the solution is basic. And if the concentrations are equal, the solution is neutral. At 25 degrees, Kw equal 10 minus 14. So Kw equal HCO plus square, or Kw equal OH minus square. So HCO plus equal OH minus equal radical Kw. In this case, for a neutral solution at 25 degrees, the concentration of HCO plus is equal to the concentration of OH minus is equal 10 minus 7 molar. An acidic or basic solution sufficiently concentrated, we can neglect the auto-ionization of water. Consider, for example, HCl 0.1 molar. The HCO plus concentration provided by this HCl is equal 0.1 molar. HCO plus provided by the auto-ionization of water at 25 degrees is equal 10 minus 7 molar. So 10 minus 7 molar is negligible with respect to 0.1 molar, and in this case, since the concentration of HCl is concentrated, so we neglect the auto-ionization of water. Pay attention, not in all cases we can neglect the auto-ionization of water. We will see in the next slides when we can neglect this auto-ionization and when we cannot. By convention, a substance B is negligible with respect to a substance A if the concentration of A is greater at least 10 times than that of B. Consider the decomposition of HA, a weak acid, in water. HA decomposed to A minus and HCO plus till the equilibrium. And the equilibrium is characterized by equilibrium constant K, which is equal to the concentration of A minus at equilibrium times HCO plus at equilibrium divided by HA at equilibrium. Since this value K is directly proportional to the concentration of HCO plus, so as K increase, HCO plus increase. So this equilibrium constant is an indication about the acidity of a solution. For this reason, we noted Ka, the acidity constant. The greater Ka value or the lower pKa means the acid is stronger. So the strength of the acid increase, but never weak acid becomes strong. We have a great difference between the term stronger and strong. Consider the decomposition of a base A minus in water. A minus plus H2O give HA plus OH minus. This decomposition proceeds till the equilibrium and is characterized also by equilibrium constant K, which is equal to the concentration of HA at equilibrium times concentration of OH minus at equilibrium divided by that of A minus at equilibrium. Since K is directly proportional to the OH minus concentration, so K is an indication about the basicity of a solution. We noted Kb, the basicity constant. As Kb increase or pKa decrease, the concentration of OH minus for a known initial concentration of C will increase. So the base A minus is stronger, but never this weak base becomes strong. Any couple HA A minus has a known value of Ka and known value of Kb at 25 degrees, and Ka and Kb are the identities of the couple HA A minus, and this value Ka and Kb can be used independent of the exercise. Ka and Kb of the same couple are related. If we multiply Ka by Kb, we cancel A minus, HA with HA. So Ka times Kb equal HCO plus at equilibrium times OH minus at equilibrium. So Ka times Kb for the same couple is equal to Kw, and pKa plus pKb is equal pKw, since pKa is equal minus log Ka. To a stronger acid corresponds a weaker base. That means if you consider a couple HA A minus, as HA is a stronger acid, its conjugate base is weaker base, and vice versa. The weaker the acid, the stronger its conjugate base, while remaining less basic than OH minus, and vice versa. In other words, if you have two couples, HA A minus, HB B minus, if HA is a stronger acid than HB, that means B minus is a stronger base than A minus. In aqueous solution, HCO plus is considered as the strongest acid. OH minus is considered as the strongest base. In aqueous solution, the solvent used is water. So the value of pKa of all couples in solution is between 0 and 14. Changing the nature of the solvent to acetic acid, for example, the interval of pKa will be changed, and in this case, the pKa value are between -14 and 12. In aqueous solution, any couple acid base with pKa between 0 and 14 means that the acid of this couple HA is weak, the base of this couple A minus is also weak. So this is a way to know if the acid we used is strong or weak. Consider HA acid with pKa, for example, equal 4.7. Since this value, 4.7, is between 0 and 14, that means this acid used HA is weak and its conjugate base is weak. Consider, for example, HCl. What is the corresponding couple? The corresponding couple of HCl is not HCl minus, because in solution we don't have HCl. In solution, all HCl decomposed to HCO plus. So the couple involved has a pKa 0 and is HCO plus H2O. Consider the strong base NaOH. The couple involved, acid base, is not NaOH and A plus. Since in solution we don't have NaOH. NaOH decompose completely to OH minus. In this case, the couple involved has a pKa 14 and is H2O OH minus. Suppose the acid used has pKa negative. So in this case, HA is a strong acid. Its conjugate base A minus is weak base. And if the pKa is greater than 14, so the acid HA used is weak and its conjugate base is strong. To note that in our curriculum, since we are using water as universal solvent, so in aqueous solution, all the value of pKa should be between 0 and 14. As pKa decrease, the strength of the acid increase and the strength of the base decrease. So pKa decrease, the strength of the acid increase, or pKa increase, the strength of the base increase. Comparing, for example, B minus and A minus. B minus is more basic than A minus. HA is more acidic than HB. The acidity or the basicity of a solution can be measured by the value of pH or the value of pOH. pH means potential hydrogen and is proportional to the concentration of HCO plus in a solution. The pH is measured by a pH meter, which is a voltmeter that measures the potential difference between two well-chosen electrodes. We have two electrodes, the indicator electrode or the glass electrode and the reference electrode, grouped together to form a single electrode called combination electrode. When a glass electrode and a reference electrode are dipped in a solution, this will create a galvanic cell. So the voltmeter will measure a voltage which is directly related to the value of HCO plus in the solution or to the value of pH. So we measure a voltage difference in a solution and we transform this voltage difference to a value of pH. And the pH meter, in the pH meter, we have two functions here, one for the voltage and other is for the pH, since pH and voltage difference are related. Any solution contains HCO plus and OH minus ions, and the concentrations of these ions depend on the composition of the solution. So for any solution, we have to measure the value of the pH and the value of pOH. By definition, pH equal minus log HCO plus in the solution, or HCO plus equal 10 to the power minus pH. pOH of the solution equal minus log concentration OH minus in the solution, or OH minus in the solution equal 10 to the power minus pOH. Any solution has a value of pH and a value of pOH. So pH of a solution plus pOH of the same solution equal minus log concentration HCO plus minus log concentration OH minus, so equal minus log HCO plus minus log OH minus equal minus log concentration HCO plus times concentration OH minus, so equal minus log Kw equal pKw. At 25 degree equal 14. So pH and pOH for the same solution are related according to pKw. pH plus pOH equal pKw. If the pH of the solution measured is equal exactly 7, the solution is neutral and the concentration of HCO plus equal concentration of OH minus equal 10 minus 7 at 25 degree. If the pH of the solution was found less than 7, the solution is acidic and the concentration of HCO plus is greater than OH minus. If the pH is greater than 7, the solution is basic, so the concentration of HCO plus is less than 10 minus 7 mole per liter, or in other words, the concentration of OH minus is greater than 10 minus 7 mole per liter. In some books, the solution of pH between 6 and 7 are named slightly acidic. The solution with pH between 7 and 8 are named slightly basic. Why? Since in this domain from 6 to 7 and from 7 to 8, the concentration of HCO plus and OH minus are close. And as we said, if a substance is predominant on other substance, it should be greater at least 10 times. So we have two ways to express. Less than 7 acidic, greater than 7 basic, equal 7 neutral, or from 0 to 6 acidic, from 6 to 7 slightly acidic, from 7 to 8 slightly basic, from 8 to 14 basic. Consider a solution of weak acid and its conjugate base, for example, HA decomposed to HCO plus and A minus. What are the species present? The species present are HA remained, HCO plus formed, and A minus formed. So we have two couples, HA, A minus, HCO plus, H2O. Any couple HA, A minus has a value of Ka that can be used independent of the exercise or the problem, since Ka is identity of the couple HA, A minus. Ka equal A minus at equilibrium times HCO plus at equilibrium divided by HA at equilibrium. So log Ka equal log HCO plus log A minus divided by HA. Minus log Ka equal minus log HCO plus minus log A minus over HA. So pH equal pKa minus log HA divided by A minus, or simply plus log A minus divided by HA. So pH equal pKa plus log A minus divided by HA implies pH equal pKa of the couple HA A minus plus log the concentration of the conjugate base at equilibrium divided by the concentration of the acid at equilibrium, and this is known as Henderson formula or Henderson equation. In any solution containing the couple HA A minus containing the acid and its conjugate base, the pH of the solution equal minus log HCO plus in solution. This is a method to find the pH, or simply you apply Henderson formula, pH equal pKa plus log concentration of the base at equilibrium divided by the concentration of the acid at equilibrium.